You're listening to the Songs of Inspiration podcast, bringing you local interviews and performances by singer-songwriters with the goal to give space to the music community and share local artists' messages and stories with the world. I'm your host, Lars Wickland. Hey everyone, happy 2026. We're back with season 4 of the Songs of Inspiration podcast. I'm here today at the record company in their media production suite with Willie Dinardo. Thanks for being on the podcast, Willie.
Thank you for having me, Lars.
Cool. So to kick things off, can you tell us a little bit about your musical background and kind of your journey and how you got started?
My name is Willie Dinardo. I am 33 years old. Anybody who quote unquote, I actually just celebrated 20 years of the Willie Dinardo project. It wasn't always Willie Dinardo in the corporates. It was Willie Dinardo, then it was Willie Dinardo and Friends informally, and then when it became a full band in 2011, it's been Willie Dinardo and the corporates. But it's like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Same thing, whether he's with the Heartbreakers or not, same project. And the project as a whole actually just celebrated 20 years on December 1st, 2005. That was the date.
Wow.
But I had been playing like drums and percussion since like 1999-ish. And then around 2005, at that point I would have just turned 13. I started dabbling with guitar and piano. I had taken drum lessons at the South Shore Conservatory in Duxbury with a wonderful, wonderful guy named Ed Sorrentino, who basically taught me everything that I know, not just about like drums and percussion, but about musicianship in general. I learned everything I know from him. And he took some liking to me as a student, and he pulled some strings, and I got to be a part of it's now called BYSO, the Boston Youth Symphony Orchestra, but at the time that I was a part of it for 2 seasons, it was called the Greater Boston Youth Symphony Orchestra, also known as GYBSO for short. He got me into GYBSO, and I was as green could be and I was the only one there that couldn't play multiple instruments, and they had pianos everywhere. We would rehearse at BU in one of their buildings, and there was a piano in every room. So, on breaks from rehearsal, we would be there for 8 hours every Sunday. I would goof around on the piano or go into the percussion closet and play the xylophone. So that, because technically piano is a member of the percussion family. A lot of people don't know that because it gets labeled as a keyboard instrument, but actually it's piano and keyboards are actually percussion. That's why you see a lot of times keyboard players in bands will double as the percussionist.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so basically I did that, and then kind of developed my singing voice over time. And the rest is history, I guess. 20 years later, here we are.
Very cool. What were some of the early influences you had as you started out with music?
Well, I've been interested in music since I was 3. And I think that's when I, shortly after, probably around 4 or 5 or so, that's when my parents got me started, because they realized he's into this music thing. And what opened the floodgates was Hootie and the Blowfish was at their peak in 1995 when I was 3. Cracked Review was everywhere. That album influenced me so much, and it's the 8th best-selling album of all time in music history, in the U.S. anyway, maybe in the world. I'm not sure, but that was what did it. I was one of the people that when Fairweather Johnson came out, the second album, I did not turn on Hootie. I've stayed with Hootie as a loyal TFJ, or True Fan Johnson for short. That's what they call their little their community of diehards. I've been a TFJ the entire time, through Darius Rucker going solo into country and all that. you know. But I was lucky to grow up when I did, because, I mean, Hootie and the Blowfish aside, and all the great 90s bands like Bare Naked Ladies and Matchbox 20 and everybody from that era, 90s children's television, when I would have been at that age, like 3 through 6 maybe, you know, there were shows on Nickelodeon, or Nick Jr. it would have been, like Blue's Clues, Allegra's Window, Gullah Gullah Island, that were all centered around music.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and Sesame Street still is, you know, they always have, you know, whoever's on the hit parade as a guest. And all those shows are, from at least from that time period, there was just a certain way they did it that shows today, like Miss Rachel and stuff, don't do it the way that they did in the 90s. I was lucky to grow up when I did.
Yeah. Mr. Rogers, too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he played the piano. He wrote that theme song, which I just found out recently. I had no idea that he wrote that song.
Yeah, he was a pretty incredible jazz musician, I guess. Like, pretty amazing jazz piano player.
That sounds about right. That would have been his era.
Oh, yeah. Cool. As you got started with music, did you have any mentors that helped you get started with, like, songwriting and stuff?
Well, I would say probably the three people I would cite as my musical mentors for different reasons would be the drum teacher that I mentioned earlier, Ed Sorrentino. He just basically gave me the basic outline of musicianship and everything. And then when I got to high school, there was a kid who I'm still friends with to this day, a couple years ahead of me, named Rex Mack. He's a hip-hop artist and journalist in the Boston area now. Mm-hmm. And he kind of took me under his wing, and I was like his first of many proteges, if you will, that he would take under his wing. I learned a lot about how to record vocals with him, and just how to create and be artistic and whatnot. And then more recently, my therapist, I was lucky enough in 2023 to get hooked up with an art therapist.
Oh, cool.
Who actually inspired a lot of the new album. She basically just, through her interest of the creative process and, you know, art being used as a healing tool, she just worked her wizardry on me. And I know she's going to watch this because I told her about this. So she'll be, you know, I'm gushing over her right now. But she basically, a light bulb just went off in my head, and it started a creative streak for me that I've never experienced in my life before, or prior to that, basically. You know, I have Ed, Rex, and my therapist, who I credit her under an alias on the album. Her alias is Lily Rembrandt, because I don't want to reveal her actual identity out of respect.
Oh, yeah.
So Ed, Rex, and Lily would be my mentors.
Very cool.
For all different reasons. For musicianship, and then for just being an artist, and then the songwriting mentor that Lily is.
That's awesome. It's always good to have, like, a team of people sort of that you've been able to kind of learn from, and that help with the inspiration, and to just, like, keep that flowing and stuff.
Yeah, because, I mean, the biggest thing that the therapist got me to realize was what a great outlet it is. Like, I always knew that subconsciously.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get so caught up in the performance aspect of it, and you just get to be a perfectionist, that you forget what a great outlet it is, and you forget that if you just kind of let the reins go a little bit and let the songs write themselves, then you're gonna do great work. And I think ever since I got hooked up with that therapist, it's been some of my best work. I've written some of my best stuff that just kind of just came out.
That's great.
You know, you'd always hear singer-songwriters in interviews say, oh, sometimes the songs write themselves. And then you're like, what's he talking about, Willis? And then once it happens to you, you understand. It's like, oh, that's why. I would get, so I'm going to take a guess and say that your song, When the Hammer Falls, was one of those songs. Because that's just a great, great song. Sometimes you can tell.
Yeah, that was a song that was written in like 10 minutes.
Oh, dude, those are the best ones, man.
They are. Yeah. Very cool. What do you think are some like 3 key elements to a good song?
Well, okay. So, have you ever seen Sean Stockman's podcast? Sean Stockman from Boyz II Men, his podcast, On That Note?
No.
Oh, dude, you should check it out. This guy gets a lot of artists, and a lot of, like, artists that you don't realize are good songwriters because they're, like, R&B artists and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he said recently on an episode that if you can't strip a song back and play it on either guitar or keyboards, then it's not a great song.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. And he's right.
Yeah,
So that you have to be able to strip a song back to its basics. That would be one. Number 2 would be it has to have substance.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, even on some albums that I like one of my favorite albums of all time is Red Hot Chili Peppers, Stadium Arcadium, which is obviously like one of the best, not only albums, but one of the most famous double albums of all time. But there's filler on that album. I think they tried to jam as many songs as they could on there.
Yeah.
And some songs, especially on the second disc, are filler. And there's actually songs that didn't make the record that were released as B-sides for singles that are better than some of what ended up on the album.
Wow.
So there has to be substance there. Otherwise, it's just going to be a filler track.
Yeah.
And 3, I mean, I like, you have to be good enough with words.
Yeah.
I like wordplay. I like tongue-in-cheek. I like songwriters that are clever.
Yeah.
And can make references to stuff.
Yeah.
So that I would say those are probably the 3 things.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah. I like what you said about like just having substance, and yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like when you're writing, like you go through like sit with a lot of different songs, and sometimes they stay and sometimes they go type of thing. Like you can go through a lot of different material and then kind of choose what you want to like record and make real type of thing.
No, it's true, and it also depends on what the outlet is. Like, for you as a solo artist, or for me as kind of a quasi solo artist who works with a band of his own.
Yeah.
A great example would be, and again, these are things that you don't pick up on until somebody tells you about them. In the first college class I ever took was called Rock Lyrics as Poetry.
Oh, cool.
With this guy named Brian Duchaney, who maybe you might know. You're a few years older than me.
Familiar.
He's a South Shore guy, and he plays out.
Oh, cool.
Great guy. Very, very smart guy. And one of the things he mentioned was listen to any of the Beatles songs that John and Paul sing together, and listen to the mood change when whoever the lead vocal is change. Like, we can work it out. Trying to see it my way. Then Paul is very happy. And then when it gets to Lennon's part on the chorus, the life is very short and there's no time. The mood changes to very sad because he was more dark and he was very uppity. So that's when you have the outlet where you can do that. Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
Absolutely,
that's like hella substance.
Hell yeah, very cool. Tell us a little bit about your record that you just finished, and just got the CDs for.
Yes. So this little doohickey here, it is the new record, the second Willie Dinardo and the Corporates album, called Picturing Stop Signs. And like I had mentioned, my therapist, I met her because I quit nicotine almost 3 years ago. And it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. Nicotine is a drug like coke or heroin. And when you try to quit it, you're going to get the withdrawals and all that thing. So I basically I had to go to an outpatient day program because the withdrawals were so bad. And so I went to outpatient at Pembroke Hospital. And I was there for, I think the minimum was 15 days. So I did the minimum. And she was my case manager. And I was a mess. So she, when we would have our little one-on-ones in the, in one of the rooms there, my anxiety was bad. So and she saw that, and she said, sometimes it helps me when I get anxious. It helps to picture stop signs in your mind. Mm-hmm. And that concept just blew my mind. I had a weekend where I went on a little vacation to my favorite place in the world, Charlestown, Rhode Island, which is in the opening track. It's called Charlestown, Rhode Island, August 6th, 2023. And that was the day that I wrote the next song on the record, East Beach Road, which is the street that I was on. My family friend has a place there, and I go there every year. And when everybody goes to sleep, I walk down to the beach, which is in walking distance, and I just sit up in the lifeguard chair till, the sun comes up, basically. I go there at like 3 a.m, and I just listen to the waves, crash upon the shore. And I wrote the song East Beach Road, just stream of consciousness there. And in the bridge, I use the line, picturing stop signs in my mind. So that next Monday, when I went back to the day program, I was telling her all about it. Mm-hmm. And you inspired this. And basically, the best advice she gave me was, when you're feeling a certain type of way, write a song about it. So, and then she left that place, and then she became my actual therapist. Mm-hmm. So, but in between the time that she was leaving Pembroke and then starting on her own, I was writing songs all the time. I would hear literally echoes of her going, "Did you write a song about it?" Because that's what she asked me when I was telling her about something traumatic. She goes, "Did you write a song about it?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I did." And that's when the light bulb went off. So these are all songs that I wrote the last 2 years. Well, 10 of the 15 songs are songs that were written through therapy, either through one of the weekly songwriting prompts that my therapist gives me, where, I take it, she'll give me a prompt based on something we talked about that day, and I'll write something and bring it back the next week and sing it to her, because she plays guitar, so she leaves the guitar in her room. So 10 of the 15 songs are that.
Nice.
And, so it's kind of I don't want to call it a concept album, because we're not Styx. But,
yeah.
It can be interpreted as a concept album if you so choose to. It's up to the listener. And then the other 5 songs, which would have been Unstoppable, It's a Dark World After All, In the Name of All, That Time Has Come, and Bold and Brash. Bold and Brash was just an instrumental that we wrote on the cuff, off the mm-hmm. cuff. And the other 4 songs were songs that were written before I met this therapist, but they were carefully chosen to match the concept of the record. And I sequenced the album in... So basically, when you listen to this record in its entirety, as records were meant to be listened to, it's basically the up and down emotions of it is basically kind of like the audio version of a year in the life of the healing process.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this definitely was healing for me. I shed both tears of joy and sadness making this record.
Yeah.
Especially on some of the songs that where Lily would give me a weekly prompt. And those songs were particularly fun to write.
That's cool. Yeah, prompts are definitely helpful to just spark the creative process and stuff. And
I actually gave her that idea to give me weekly prompts from Ryan Smith, who's the guitar player from Soul Asylum. He teaches songwriting classes. And I was watching a video that he was talking about what he does in his class. I think he was trying to get students to sign up for his class. And he was like, oh, I'll give my students a prompt. And then they'll write about it. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, because that makes you focus on whatever that one thing is. Like, you know, if you gave me a prompt and said, write a song about that lamp right there, that's off camera here. It would be like, okay. So I take a look at the lamp and try to put its physical characteristics into lyrics. Like, that's cool. You can literally write about anything. Isn't songwriting great, Lars?
Yes.
I know I'm talking your ear off.
No,
but
it's
I'm
great.
just, I could talk about songwriting all day. And, you know, some of my pals that you've had on here, like Alex Brown.
Yeah.
She's
Alex
the
is
best,
awesome.
man. She is literally Taylor Swift Jr., and that's a compliment.
She writes a lot of songs, yeah.
Yes, she does, and she's doing the thing right now where she's writing a song every day for the month of January, and she's killing it. Like, each one gets better than the last. And her voice, man, I wish I could hire her for an hour every day to just sing me to sleep with that voice. Are you kidding me? And then, obviously, Not Art, my friend Sam Boyles, who mentioned me on his episode of the podcast. Thank you, Samuel. I'm going to return the favor right now and actually tell a story about his father, who I know he said in his episode was a huge influence on him. Great guy, great English teacher. I had him senior year. And his dad was a huge Chili Peppers fan. So me and Mr. Boyles bonded over that. And I remember I was a custodian at Cordage Park in Plymouth. And this was after, like, a year after I'd graduated. All of a sudden, Mr. Boyles comes walking down the hallway. I think he was there for a doctor's appointment or something. He was like, hey, well, how's the music going? And I said, great. He's like, well, remember, your lyrics don't have to make sense. Listen to the song on the Chili Peppers album. Listen to Look Around. You know, Anthony's rapping and doing this thing, and then the chorus is look around, look around, look around. It makes no sense. So from that, I wrote the song on my first record, the self-titled album, which was also on an earlier demo/EP. The song was Far Out Like a 22, where I'm just doing kind of like non sequitur, like 90s style raps, like kind of on All Star by Smash Mouth, or 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies, or Summer Girls by LFO, where they're just kind of rapping off the cuff and it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense, and then you just have this catchy chorus. And it doesn't make it makes zero sense. So I got that from Mr. Boyles. So
that's so cool.
Thank you, Gene Boyles, and thank you, Sam Boyles, for the shout out. And you're welcome for the shout out back. And plus, he's got the best name ever, Not Art.
Yeah.
Because it's not art, but it is art.
Yeah. I love the song Outlaw and Fur that his band does.
My favorite is the what's it called? Running Away to Canada. Let's Go to Canada.
Nice. Very cool.
Running Away to Canada. That's Justin Arena. Shout out to Justin Arena, another great songwriter who you should have on here. I'm gonna make you a list of all the songwriters if you're looking for if you're like, who should I have on this season? I got you.
Nice.
I've got friends. If Garth Brooks has friends in low places, I have friends in songwriter places.
Nice. We are looking for more folks to come on this year. So yeah, if you're a songwriter out there and you want to be on the podcast, reach out to me, DM me.
A lot of the people at where we met at Carlin's Rounds are good people. Like I know you had Alex on. Have you had Arielle Strasser on?
No.
Oh, she's great. She's another one whose voice just crawls into my heart and stays there whenever I hear it. She's great. Obviously, Carlin is great.
Yeah.
Cat Ivy. Yeah, the list goes on.
I had Jamie Kane as well, who was on at the beginning of last season.
Really?
He did a bunch of the rounds.
Did he?
Yeah.
Huh. What's his name?
Jamie Kane.
Jamie Kane. No, I don't think he was at any of the ones I was at.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I got you.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I think it's cool what you were saying about the weekly prompts though and stuff. I actually have been working with a guitar teacher and doing similar stuff where instead of prompts, it's like here's like a scale or like a chord, like we'll go through like the diatonic chords for a scale, and he'll be like, now like make a chord progression and write a song with it, and it has to include like a diminished chord or like certain like putting certain limitations on it,
which obviously makes the songs better because then you have no choice but to follow that specific formula. That's cool. So he's giving you the music version of that, the riff version.
Yep. But yeah,
that's cool very stuff. Good. Yeah. How's that been working for you?
It's been working well. Yeah, we've been doing lessons for about 2 years, and I've written like probably like 25 songs in that time. Not all of them I've released, but yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
There were 5 songs. Actually, there were 4 songs. One of them, the 5th one was the cover. There were 4 original songs that actually didn't make the album that were also prompt songs, but just kind of didn't really fit with the rest of the flow of the album. That's my favorite part about this making a track list for the album, was seeing what works together and what doesn't.
Yeah. Very cool. What would you say is the song that is the most meaningful to you on the album?
On the album?
And can you share a little bit of the story of how you wrote it?
Yeah. Let me see. What's on this album again? Well, my favorite song on the album is called Avoidance. And so that prompt basically came from my anxiety was bad when I started therapy with her. Now we're kind of focusing more so on depression and PTSD because my anxiety is a little bit more in control. But at the time when it wasn't, she was having me do this weekly worry journal where anytime I would worry or get an anxiety attack, I would write in it, just stream of consciousness, exactly what I was feeling. And I shared with her the first couple entries of that when I started doing that, and she's like, You're being very avoidant in these entries. Like, you need to be more descriptive. You're being avoidant. And I was like, okay, I respect that constructive criticism. So the prompt for that week was avoidance. And I tried to write one of the rare occasions where I wrote a completely different song, but it sucked. And I was like, no, I can do better than this. So I took the same concept and I actually wrote on the mandolin, which I never do. I dabble in mandolin a little bit. And then this song just kind of came right out. And what was the B to your question? You had it was an A-B question.
And the story behind it.
The story behind it. Okay, so I guess I did just answer that. But that's basically what it is, about how sometimes I'm avoidant, but I don't mean to be, or sometimes I'm reserved, and sometimes I rub people the wrong way, but I don't mean to. I don't mean to hurt anybody. I'm just me, and it's hard being me sometimes because I don't always have the highest level of confidence. Don't let this angelic face fool you. Inside, there's a dark side there that hates himself because my inner voice likes to take over sometimes and tell me that I'm shit, basically.
Everyone has that inner critic that you have to deal with, especially songwriters. It's especially bad for songwriters.
Well, with this record, the songwriting was easy. The songwriting's always easy on the records. On the first album, which was the previous album, the recording process was difficult. I was basically being Brian Wilson, and I was high all the time because I'm a bit of a pothead, and it just was, I was adding layer on layer on layer to stuff. So with this album, I decided to strip things back, and I made it a conscious effort to be sober for within the confines of the studio. Off the clock, different story. But I made it a point not to get high before sessions. And I kept that promise. And it certainly upped the quality of the music because I was clear-headed and all that. But the mixing process, the mixing was difficult because for the first time we actually mixed in studio together rather than, do the mix notes over the phone where he wouldn't quite sometimes understand what I was getting at. At least in the studio, I could be like, okay, rewind to that part. And that part got a little stressful because I hear things in recordings like clicks and pops and blips and bloops and stuff that, the engineer would be like, I don't hear that. I'd be like, solo all the tracks and go to that spot. And sure enough, he'd be like, oh, yeah, no, I hear it now. My ears are weird like that. Maybe it's because I'm meticulous about cleaning my ears. So the mixing process was exhausting. The very last mixing session was on my birthday, actually. And I basically went to my buddy Sam Mello, who you should also have on this podcast, Sam Mello from Soul Bloomer. I went to his condo in Hull on Nantasket Ave and just secluded myself there for 2 days because I just was so burnt out. I was putting in a lot of hours, but yeah. I mean, it's worth it because when you listen to this, I mean, this album, people have been reacting to this album better than anything that I've ever put out. And I mean, I never really paid attention to monthly listeners on the Spotify, but since this album came out a little over a month ago, my monthly listeners have almost sextupled.
Wow.
Partially because I've been spamming people with this album, whether on talking about it publicly on Instagram, or sometimes I actually would just like local venues or friends, even friends I hadn't talked to in a while, occasionally celebrities, I would just leave the album in their inbox. I sent the album to both members of Outkast, so Andre 3000 and Big Boy have the album in their DMs. They haven't seen it yet, but I was just like, hey, you never know. Because sometimes there are certain celebrities that will respond to DMs. I was just like, you never know. Maybe 10 years down the road, they'll check their DMs and they'll find it.
Yeah,
who knows?
Never know.
I was just like, you know what? And it's how many monthly listeners do I have today? I'm gonna check. We gonna check that out. Now I'm curious because it kept going up and up and up, and I was like, where are all these coming from? No, I'm still at 122.
Nice.
Actually, 121. So I lost a listener. Damn you! No.
Cool. What's one piece of advice you'd give to songwriters that are just starting out?
Oh, that's a great question. Be yourself. You can be influenced by whomever you want, whether it's Taylor Swift, Elliott Smith, Elton John, Billy Joel, Bruce Springsteen, whomever your influences are, great. And they're always a part of who you are artistically, but you're not them. Don't try to be them. They already exist. Yeah. You be you, Be yourself and don't try to be something that you're not, because it shows when you're being inauthentic in your music, it shows more than you realize.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. I've had that phase. I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Definitely. Do you have any shows coming up?
We got some stuff lined up in February.
Nice.
I'm trying to think. They're almost confirmed, but they're almost. One of them would be at the News Cafe in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and the other one would be at Bear Wolf Brewing in Amesbury.
Oh, cool!
Which is the brewery scene, man. The last few years, the breweries are
blowing up.
Place to play these days.
Oh yeah.
And they're good spots, except for the, I'm not really an IPA guy. I'm a Bud Light guy. So every time I go there, I'll be like, can I get Bud Light? No, we don't do that. We're a brewery. And they're like, okay, what's the closest thing you got to a Bud Light? And then they'll give me like whatever their lightest thing is. My sister, I have a twin sister. She got married in Seattle in October of 24. And she's a IPA freak, her and her husband, Kevin. And they had one of the pre-wedding parties at a local brewery, and I had the same thing. Like, hey, can I get a Bud Light? No, we don't do that. All right, what's the closest thing you got to Bud Light? I'm pretty sure I saw the guy turn around, pour water in it, and be like, here's your. I'm like, that's why a lot of people say Bud Light's just water. I'm like, yeah, but it's good. Jeez.
Yeah, I also don't mind doing Bud Light pretty often when I go out. Like, only at breweries will I do something more, like, fancy. It's, like, a good go-to beer.
Bud Light Platinum is a different story.
Yeah.
I cannot drink Bud Light Platinum because me and my Plymouth buddies back in the day were playing quarters, and I was losing bad because I have no hand-eye coordination. And that's what they had to drink. And I'm chugging these, and I'm pretty sure I blacked out. But I cannot drink Bud Light Platinum. You know, when records go platinum, it's a good thing. Bud Light Platinum, not a good thing.
Yes, avoid.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's all of the questions I had for you today, man.
Sounds good.
Really awesome to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me once again. Seriously, man. This is a great podcast. We need more people that do stuff like this. And if you're the only one doing it, which I'm pretty sure you are, we got to blow this thing up.
Hell yeah.
We make songs of inspiration. The South Shores, I was going to say Joe Rogan, but I know not a lot of people are huge fans of him. So make it the South Shores on that note with Sean Stockman.
Nice. Yeah, excited to hear some music. So yeah, we'll jump into the performance.
Yes, let us do that.
Cool.
This is one of my favorite songs off of the new record, Picturing Stop Signs. It's called The Beauty of Sadness. And this song was written because it was another one of the weekly prompts from my therapist. And her prompt that week was honoring sadness. And I had a hard time with it because my inner critic doesn't believe I deserve good things. So even honoring sadness, my inner critic was like, nope, we're not honoring that. You deserve to be sad and sulky. So she recommended the song by Jason Mraz, Beautiful Mess. And I checked it out and I was like, oh, okay. And so she gave me some additional pointers and it turned into this. If they gave awards for sadness, I'd be nominated. If you want to, you could have this. Call it domination. And if you think that it's pure madness, an abomination. If you feel a sense of badness, well, that's another conversation about how I feel so down. I want to feel great, except I don't know how. Contentment feels so far apart when you have no clue where the hell you are. Because happiness is a North Star, if emotions are a compass. See those candles in the courtyard, as if to say there's something in the beauty of sadness. If you think that I am crazy, well, that's your opinion. I won't let depression face me or all of its minions. And if you think that I'm amazing, like one in a million, your kind words will surely save me, saying thanks a billion for having my sore back. High blood pressure leads to a heart attack. If that's the way I go when I die, will it be tears of joy when you cry? Because happiness is a North Star if emotions are a compass. Pretty candles in the courtyard, as if to say there's something about the beauty of sadness. Who knew something hapless could feel like magic? It happens with practice, but only if you take some action. All the beauty of sadness. Jealousy says what we want, like a ghost it always seems to haunt. It's the memories that get me through, and what leads me back to a north so true. Because happiness is a North Star if emotions are a compass. Light some candles in the courtyard, as if to say there's something in the beauty of sadness. Happiness is a North Star, my feelings are a compass. Hey, if you have no clue where you are, well, that should tell you something about the beauty of sadness. The beauty of sadness. It's the duty of sadness to find the beauty in sadness. So this song, it's called NA, which stands for Narcissists Anonymous. And that song came from, again, a therapy session. Sometimes my therapist, in addition to giving me weekly prompts, sometimes she would say something that would just be totally gold and be like, oh, there's a song in there. So I don't remember what we were talking about. She started saying, oh, I always say, we're all a little narcissistic. We're all a little borderline. And I was like, oh, there's a song in that. So on the way home from therapy that night, I basically wrote this song, tapping at the steering wheel, trying to do my best impression of John McCrae from Cake. Because he's going the distance. He's going for speed. Goes nothing. We're all a little bit narcissistic. We're all a little bit borderline. We're all a little bit pessimistic. We're all a little bit out of time. Be a little bit more terrific. Be a little bit more divine. be a little bit more specific, be a little bit more inclined. Well, be a little bit more inclined. Be a little bit more inclined. 'Cause we're all a little narcissistic. We're all a little borderline. We're all a little pessimistic. We're all a little out of time. What to do when you're feeling funky? What to do when you're feeling down? What to do when the road gets bumpy? What to do when no one's around? Be a little bit more prolific. Be a little more rise and shine. Be a little more North Pacific. Be a little bit more inclined. Be a little bit more inclined. Hey. Be a little bit more inclined. 'Cause we're all a little narcissistic. We're all a little borderline. We're all a little pessimistic. We're all a little out of time. We're all a little narcissistic. We're all a little borderline. We're all a little pessimistic. We're all a little out of time. This next verse is my favorite verse of the whole song. Here we go. I'm thinking I'm a little hard to handle. I'm thinking I'm a little insecure. I'm thinking you should put me on your mantle. Or maybe you could throw me on the floor. To be a little bit more specific. To be a little bit more aligned. To be a little bit more horrific. To be a little bit more unkind. Well, be a little bit more unkind. Be a little bit more unkind. 'Cause you're all a little narcissistic. We're all a little borderline. We're all a little pessimistic. We're all a little out of time. We're all a little hard to handle. We're all a little insecure. We're all a little burnt like candles. We're all a little out the door and back for more. That's right. My name's Willie, and I'm a narcissist. 'Cause aren't we all? Yeah.
Nice.
Alright, so my last one is going to be my favorite song I've ever written, period. This is the song that has been played at almost every Willie solo and or full band show since September 6th, 2013. It's the song that someday I hope will be sung at my funeral. I could sing this song twice every show and not get sick of it. I love this song. I'm so proud of it. And this is probably the first song that I ever wrote that I can confidently say was one of the ones that wrote itself. I mean, exactly what happened in the I guess little story I tell in the song is exactly what happened that day that I wrote it. And again, Stream of Consciousness. Later that night, I wrote this, and it's been a Willie staple ever since, pretty much. This is a lot of people's favorite songs, too. As a matter of fact, my buddy Oliver Kane from Rabbits for Sale, who would also be a great guest on here, told me, he just texted me randomly the other day, said, "Hold On To Me hits hard." And that is the segue. This song is called Hold On To Me. If you're watching out there in wherever you are, and you know this song and you like the song, sing along if you know the words. Nobody can hear you, I promise. I can't sleep, it's 5 a.m. The sun is rising once again. I woke up from a dream, don't remember what it was. I try to turn on the TV to help me fall on back asleep, but that never really works anyway. Cause when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Everything is changing and this world is so deranged. Timing's not my forte and it's never really been, but if you just hold on to me, I will hold on to you too. You and I have grown apart. In fact, you've broken my poor heart. Now I lie awake in bed, drifting away and all alone. I saw you just the other day. I didn't recognize your face. Now you're just another stranger in this town. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Everyone is changing and this world is so deranged. And Tyler goes, world is so deranged. Time is not my forte, yo, and it's never really been. But if you just hold on to me, I will hold on to you too. Everybody's changing and you know it's kind of strange. Timing's not my forte and if you just be patient and hold on, hold on, hold on to me. I will hold on to you. That's what I know. Thank you, Lars, for having me. Songs of Inspiration and Willie Dinardo and the Corporates, Picturing Stop Signs. Available now